Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Um, sorry, I am ready. Hey, good morning. Hi, my name is Aaron Sapirski. I own a company called Aaron's Estate Sales, and I also own a company called Block Auction House in the Metro Detroit area, in Michigan. And so, if you're joining us from anywhere else around the country or the world, please feel free to say hi. This is being streamed live on Facebook, also on YouTube. So if you can hear me all right, I just want to make sure that the sound is good. Please feel free to put a comment. Good morning. Yeah, you can see me. Everything's good. There was one thing I forgot to do. This is who I am. This is me. Like I said, my name is Aaron Sapirski. So today we're talking about something that's very special to me because it's something that shifted my whole world and my whole universe when I started to apply it, this little bit of data. If you own a business, if you have an idea, if you have a thing that you're doing to create money, but you want to create more money, this can help you. So today there's several different places where this is being watched. So I might not see all the different comments, but feel free to press the like button or to share it with a friend if this is at all helpful to you. So I've been in business now for about 9 years doing Aaron's Estate Sales. And it went from me, and I've struggled up and pushed through the barriers to create a decent sized small business in Metro Detroit. At some point in the past 2 years, year and a half, year-ish, I have decided that I want to be more than a small business and that I want to create prosperity for my family and the people around me. So this is the journey I'm taking you on. We do these live videos every Sunday, but then also we're going to be recording a lot of this journey going from one place to another place, and we look forward to taking you on that ride. The first thing that changed in my universe that made me decide that I wanted to grow my business was not only because obviously everyone wants more money, that's a very obvious and superficial, shallow thing to say, yeah, that would be the only goal. It's really when I started to look at ethics and my own personal ethics and what I was doing and what I wasn't doing that was creating the conditions I was in. And so as we were going through this, I have a few notes, so I might look down. I might look down at the computer, but I really want to help you, give you some sort of data that will help you realize that you want to take it to the next level, or that you want to do more, or that you want more out of life or your company or the things that you're doing around you. So the first thing in business is ethics, and took me 7-8 years to realize that this one important thing was the barrier to all my success. And when we're talking about ethics in business, I wanted to point out that we're not going to get into the conversation about corporate America and corporate greed and all the things that, the things that come to mind when you think of business. What I wanted to do was focus on what me and you could do something about, and that's ourselves, and that's our business, and that's the environment around us. And then as we handle that, we can tackle bigger problems in society through expansion and through our influence. So I just wanted to make sure that wasn't too much on your mind as we're going through this, because this is directly related to you, your business, your future, your survival, your family, your groups, everything around you. Basically, the first thing in business is ethics, and I want to read a definition for you. And the definition that I'm going to read there's two. The first one is ethics, principles about what is proper, moral, or rational that guide an individual's choices and actions. The study of ideal or optimum conduct. So when you're thinking about what are the proper moral or rational principles that guide your choices and actions, and then even more so to accomplish optimum survival for himself and others. Now, that's a very, very important definition, which leads to the next definition I'd like to read, which is rationality towards the highest level of survival for the individual, the future race, group, or mankind, ethics or reason. So the rationality towards the highest level of survival for you and your groups and mankind. So when we look at that, we look at a business as a group. A business is a group of individuals all trying to complete the motions towards a goal for everyone's survival. And that group can be said to be surviving very well, just fine, or very poorly. And you would know better than me looking at your business or the actions, or you could look at your family unit, or you could look at your community or your church and think about how is that group surviving? How well are they surviving? And so from there, you get ethics points. When you see a group that's surviving extremely well, operating at full speed, and they are focused and determined and really executing properly, could they be doing things that are pushing towards that line? Sometimes when a group is not surviving very well, or at least what I've seen in my business, is that when people aren't listening, staff aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, to some greater or lesser degree on the staff or myself, ethics are, in question. So essentially, the first thing in business is ethics. The other thing, the main thing that I wanted to talk about, and this was because last week we went over a lot of promotional actions. And if you are doing things considered out ethics, meaning not good for survival for yourself, your groups, or mankind, if you're doing actions that aren't necessarily pro-survival, then to some degree, a greater or lesser degree, you are going to hold yourself back. So that's why it has to be the first thing in a business, is because when you go into business, you have to get business, you have to maintain the business, you have to execute on the business properly, and then you have to do it over and over again to create survival. And so that's the simplicity of a business. So you have to sell, you have to produce the product, and then you have to keep those people happy and then keep producing it. So if your ethics, if you're doing things in your personal life that are not pro-survival, and when you think about pro-survival, what would be an action? So if I am leaving the office a mess every night and it's just trashed, and then employees are coming in and they're walking into a trashed office all the time, that's just like a not fun place to work in, then my own personal ethics are out in that space, and then I'm creating other things in my environment through that. So when you're doing things, and that was just a really simple example, you are going to hold yourself back. And this is the main part about promotion. I know I was going to go into a lot of other stuff before I got to this point, but it's probably the most crucial point, is that if you're doing things that you wouldn't really show with the world, you're going to hold yourself back from showing yourself to the world. And you're not going to do these YouTube videos, and you're not going to push as hard as you can in promotion, and you're going to not show the world who you are because you're insecure about who you are. And that starts with an ethics point. That starts with what you are doing that is pro-survival or not pro-survival in your life. And so I know that that's hard to hear, and I've been there, so I get it. But through clearing these things up, through clearing up the things that I'm doing that are pro-survival, the things that I'm doing are not pro-survival, and I'm literally talking about from a granular, very simple point, from cleaning up after yourself, from like doing simple things, like taking out the trash because your wife wants you to take out the trash and you always forget to take out the trash. Like maybe you need to put ethics in on yourself and handle that. Or it could be big things that you're doing that are not okay. And that's personal. That's between you and yourself that you have to figure out. So I want you to think about these things. And what does ethics mean to you? What is pro-survival for you, and what is not pro-survival in your universe, So basically, going through that, talking about promotion again, to the degree that you are out ethics, I would go to say, I used to say, last week I was saying, to the degree that you are insecure about yourself. You're insecure about yourself usually because of things that you've done or didn't do, that you are holding in place. So to the degree that you are in ethics or out ethics, you're going to promote into the marketplace. And that's a blanket statement. But if you apply getting your own personal stuff in order, knocking off the things that are not pro-survival, getting in super pro-survival things, you're going to be willing to communicate into the marketplace. Trust me. So that is one of the biggest things, because promotion is the largest killer of all businesses. That and like not doing what you're supposed to be doing while you're doing it. But promotion is the number one problem in America for a small business, is how do I get more clients? If you had endless clients, then you could put in the structures, you could put in the systems, you could hire the staff, you could pay for the promotion that you're supposed to be doing. So this is what I wanted to talk to you about, because the rationality towards highest level of survival for the group or mankind. And like I said, this group, we're talking about business here, but the group could be your family. How is your family surviving? Are they surviving on a very high level or not? And how can you take responsibility for that? What are you doing to cause or not cause that? Are you making enough money to support your family? Are you taking responsibility for the fact of the money that you're making? Are you taking the responsibility for the time that you're spending with your family? Are you trying to at least figure it out? Because I've been there too. And I, to a greater or lesser degree, I'm still super hyper focused on my business, and I always will be. But I have to carve out the time for my family, because this is the whole reason that I'm in business for, is for them, and for my community, and for my church, and for all the different groups that I have in mankind, really. So it goes back to an ethics point. So one of the things I wanted to talk about was with staff. When you have staff, or you have people that are working for you, and they cannot be in ethics, they cannot have their ethics, they cannot do actions that are pro-survival for the group if they're not trained and headed properly. No training, no communication on how to do things is going to end up with lack of purpose, lack of value, and then when somebody doesn't have a purpose or any value, then they're going to mess things up. Their ethics are going to go out. They are going to start doing things which are not pro-survival. By, intentionally or unintentionally, when a person lacks purpose and value because they have no training, no position in the organization, then they're going to mess things up. And so this is what I see a lot of times in small business. I hired all these people, they're awful. Or people are hard to find. Good people are hard to find. How many business owners have I heard say that? Man, I'm finding great people every day. And I personally need to take more and more responsibility for the training of them. That's an absolute highest priority for me, growing my business, taking it to the next level, is because I have to have the team that's going to execute on that. So that's just another point in business and hatting. And without a hat, person lacks value and purpose. When he has no purpose and value, they will mess things up, period. So along with hats in your organization or your business, or the massive thing that was missing when I started my business was no rules or agreements with the other people around me. So if you just start and you're willy-nilly and you're like, all right, people come in whenever you want, or at one point I was like, in my business, I was like, well, people are good people, and I know that they're good people, and this is still very true to this day, that people are good people. They'll just do what they should be doing, And so we'll just put them in place, and they'll all execute properly because they're good people, and we won't have any troubles. Massive mistake. To keep an ethics in your organization, meaning to keep the highest level of survival for that group, you need rules and you need agreements with yourself and your staff. This job starts at this time. We will all be here 5-10 minutes early. We will have a meeting at this time. We will do these actions. This is right. This is wrong. This is okay. You need that road to guide them upon, or else they're going to go off the road. It's just as simple as that. I see this all too often in businesses too. And they're like, I don't know why my staff are out smoking all the time. Like why they're not helping customers. Why they're, all standing behind the register together. Well, there's no rules or agreements. Your agreements with your group are your policies. So when you have a policy, when you put together policies for your organization, those are the agreements with your group. Those are the things which will raise everyone's control and everyone's, actions over that group. So that's just another point. One of the things I wanted to say about ethics is that in promotion is it is your moral obligation to promote your business or service, period. I'm going to ask you a question. Do you have a service or a product that will help people? Do you know that you are the best at providing that service or product? If you raise your hand to either of those, then it is your moral obligation to make sure that people buy from you, that people know about you, that people will use you. So here's an example. There's a company in my area, an estate sale company, and their website has flagrant lies. Like, it's really sickening to some extent. Now, I'm not going to go out on an all-out war on another company or disrespect or engage or anything like that, because I have to focus on my ethics. I have to make sure that we're the biggest company in the area and that everyone knows about us so that they hire us over someone else. So you make it about yourself. What he's doing in his stuff, yeah, the industry probably needs protection from that. But the way to give the best protection is by flourishing and prospering in your own company, making yourself as big as possible so that you are the one that people hire. So when I meet with clients for estate sale appointments, I'm very adamant about using our service, even if we are more expensive than the competition, even if our process is a little more in depth, that client has to know that we're going to handle them perfectly and that we are going to execute on what we say. Another thing, so this is my ethical responsibility now to make sure that someone buys from me. When I have a client, if that client purchases from another estate sale company, that's an ethics point for me, because it was my responsibility to make sure that they got the best service with the best quality. And I have to know that to my core that this is the best service and quality, or else I'm not producing towards the highest level of survival for that person, for myself, for my group, for my business, for our survival, for my family, for my community. Like, I'm doing a disservice on everybody if I'm not out here promoting, saying we are the best estate sale company. We are going to handle your, beloved family's belongings the best, and we are going to make you the most money. We're going to handle the home correctly. We're going to make sure that the home is left in better condition than it was when you gave it to us. So that's a huge point. There was another point that I wanted to talk about with ethics. So it is your ethical responsibility to promote your service if you have a great service that actually helps people, and if you know you are the best person to deliver it. Push the communication to the marketplace by any means necessary. That's why we do these videos. We started doing these videos the second that flipped for me, where I was like, well, I know that we are the best. I know that we can help people and that we do help people every week. I also know that the systems and processes that we have in place take a client from one place all the way through our process with complete transparency and with complete communication the whole way through, that they'll get handled, and that they'll get handled better than if they hire another company that doesn't have any systems and processes, because they're just a little estate sale company with them and a friend, and that's half the price as us, but it's not going to get the product for those people. When you're buying a service, you don't always know that. You don't always know what the end result's going to be. So you need to be convinced. Sometimes you need to be sold. And if you own a business, it's your responsibility to sell those people. And it's an ethics point. So definitely wanted to go over that. I think that as far as that's what I was going to go over. So as far as expanding your company and expanding into the marketplace and expanding and growing, what changed for me on ethics was basically when I started getting in line everything that I was doing, figuring out, my pro-survival actions on my business and my family and the community and the people around me, and then my not so pro-survival actions and all those things around me. When I got rid of all those not pro-survival things that I was doing, I was like, man, I can do a lot more. I can help a lot more people. I can actually give an amazing service to more people, to where I can now help more. Why wouldn't I help more people? If I'm the one that I know is doing it the best, well, then why wouldn't I expand into my marketplace? Why wouldn't I go from 3 estate sales to 10 estate sales? So if you have a service, if you're, I know a lot of people on this feed are, they have little businesses, they have like house cleaning businesses or bakery businesses or, small restaurants or things like that. Like if you have great food and that you're going to give the best service when people walk in and they're going to have this amazing experience, well, then why wouldn't you want more people to have that? You do want more people to have that experience. We want more people to have the experience with Aaron's estate sales. That's super positive, and so that the estate sales in our area can turn into like when somebody uses an estate sale company, that's like, wow, this is a great thing to do. This is a great experience to have. We want that result more often than not, but to do that, it's our personal ethical responsibility to make sure that we're expanding and that we're helping people and that we do hire great staff and that we train them properly and that they don't fall off and all these different things. So ethics is the very first thing in business when you have a business, because if your own personal ethics are out, you're going to hold yourself back from really executing. You're going to struggle. You're going to sit there and you're going to wonder why. Why is all these things happening to me? Why can't I get good customers? Why are all my clients, mad at me? Why can't I find any good people? Like, it's you. And that's what it amounts to, is if you are doing pro-survival things, you will bring in pro-survival people. Doing hiring, for an example. We were interviewing this one guy, great guy, seems nice, but in the interview, he starts talking about doing out ethics things. He starts talking about how he goes to these parties and he smokes weed and does all that. And for what we're trying to execute on, for trying to go from where we're at to a $10 million estate sale company, I can't have out ethics in my environment. I can't have people in my environment that are more focused on doing drugs, speaking to me about that in an interview, about like not even medicinal, like just to do it, than the job that's at hand. I can't even have that in my environment, but it took me bringing my ethics level up for me to know when I saw that it's not okay, like to be able to spot that. So it's a huge point in business. It's knowing what's right, what's wrong, what you're trying to achieve, what's going to get you there, what's going to stand in your way, and then pushing all those barriers out of your way so that you can achieve what you want to achieve. I hope that this helps in some way. I hope that you go through, and what you can do is you can make a list. What are the non-survival things that I'm doing? What am I doing in day to day that is not really ethical? And when we're talking about ethical, we're talking about principles about what is moral or rational that guide an individual's choices and actions, the study of ideal or optimum conduct. So for me, I think if I want to be a CEO, I want to own $10 million business that I want to take to $100 million, what do I have to be? What is the ideal or optimum conduct that person does? What does that look like for me to do that? And then how do I achieve that? Well, it's not messing around doing stupid things. It's not, being cluttered mess. It's not being disorganized. It's not, doing drugs. It's not posting bad memes. It's not like, that's not what a CEO looks like to me. So I have to make rational choices that guide my actions towards that, optimum conduct to become that person that I want to be, or to reach that state that I want to be. And I want to be someone that helps in my environment. I want to be someone that's a leader in my organization, that an employee can come to with a problem and actually have a solution for them that can take them from where they're at to their next level of survival. And so that's why ethics is the first thing, because if you're out ethics, or if you're doing things that are out ethics that are not pro-survival, you won't be able to help those other people. You won't be able to stand above the fray and say, this is right, this is wrong, this is how we're going to operate and guide the ship. So I hope that this helps in any way. If not, good morning. I have a ton of people on here on different things. Good morning, Linda. Good morning, Stephanie. Good morning, Christine. Good morning, Deborah. Good morning, Rob. Good morning, Sandy. Good morning, Tasha. Allison, of course, thank you for joining us. if you're on here, there's a ton of people from other ways. I know that I'm just like jibber jabbering about ethics and responsibility and all these things. I hope that this helps because it is what helped me go from the struggle of every day trying to get by and trying to grow a business to bigger problems. Like, hey, I want to improve my community. Like, why should a park be all messed up and I not be able to do something about it? Why can't I help with this action? Why can't, when I grew up, I remember going and seeing my father in basically the Flint homeless shelter, Salvation Army homeless shelter. Why can I not do something about that? Why can't I help people now? And it's only based on what I'm capable of controlling in my environment. So I have to be able to keep my ethics in and have razor sharp ethics to be able to grow and expand my influence upon not just myself, but actual employees. If I want to go to 50, 100 employees, I have to be like razor clean to be able to handle that and to be able to, grow my company and be able to still handle clients and handle everything that I'm doing. Right now, since I got my own personal ethics in on a lot of things, I have very little stress. So when we talk about going to $10 million estate sale company or growing the auction house, or let's do this. We're doing a 700 lot auction for Madonna University. That's huge, that we will be promoting soon. Huge art auction, but to have that in the works, to have this in the works, to have employees, to have an estate sale going on right now, I have to know that what I'm doing is pro-survival. And if I'm doing actions that aren't pro-survival, it's going to pull my attention. It's going to keep my attention on different things. I have to be able to, when I'm with my family, pay all the attention to them so that they're not neglected and so that they're perfectly kept as well. So, Lynn, what up? So I hope this helps. Like I said, the definition of ethics is principles about what is proper, moral, or rational that guide an individual's choices and actions, the study of ideal or optimum conduct, and then rationality towards the highest level of survival for the individual, the future race, the group, and mankind. So that's a huge, huge definition. And I hope that if this helps expand your mind that, hey, what I'm doing maybe only affects me and a small group of people right now, but as I grow and as I take more responsibility for the different areas around me, maybe I can have this huge business and then be able to handle some issues in my community that are happening. Maybe in 10 years or 20 years, I can open that drug rehabilitation center and help hundreds of people a year. There's bigger goals and there's bigger dreams and there's bigger things that we can accomplish. But we have to have the rationality towards the highest level of survival for yourself first. For yourself, in your survival, then the future race and the group, your groups, your organization, your choir, my wife takes piano class. That's a group right there, that group of performers. Your church is a group, your community is a group, your business is a group. If you are seeing things that are happening and you work for a company and those things aren't pro-survival, then you're harming your own group. If you don't take action, if you don't raise your responsibility, raise your ethics level and handle those. And I see that all the time where sometimes even in my own business, I'm like, why didn't anybody tell me this? And it just gives me a sharp hit. And I'm like, wow, nobody could communicate that this was going on. We have to have a talk about ethics, it is everyone's responsibility to forward their own group. And so I'll stop talking. I'm just rambling now about this. I really love talking with you guys every Sunday. I'm really happy that you joined me, and I'm just checking on here. You guys are awesome. So try to do some things. Like I said, write out actions. Just be honest with yourself. Write out, what am I doing that is not pro-survival currently? Maybe I'm playing too many video games when I should be working. Maybe I'm drinking too much. Maybe I'm whatever you're doing, that is not necessarily pro-survival. And really take an honest look at that, and then you'll be able to be like, all right, I know what to do about it. I know how to cut it out. And then once you take responsibility for yourself, then you can expand your business. You can push into the marketplace. You can talk to people like we're talking today. And you can say, hey, we're the best company for the job. We are going to service you. And I stand by that. So have a great Sunday. I'm going to go spend it with my family. I know that I have tons and mountains of work to do. So we'll see if I can get any of that done as well. And we have an estate sale that's going on today. Starts in about an hour and a half. It's in Southfield. And then we have like a bunch next week. We have this amazing Birmingham estate sale, Birmingham, Michigan. And it's packed. It's fully packed. And our staff is going to super execute on that job. It's going to be an amazing experience. We are also doing, I should have loaded a picture of it. We're also, if you want to spend 3 days with us and Aaron's estate sales crew, and if you want to, you can either spend 3 days with us coming to the event, or we also have we also have room options if you wanted to stay with us. I know that there's a few people that have signed up that are from like 3-4 hours away that want to come and we're doing a special conference next weekend for 3 days. We're going to be live streaming Grant Cardone's growth conference, and we're also going to be doing seminars on marketing, branding, how to use Instagram, how to do all these different things. So if you're interested in that, just DM Aaron's Estate Sales or Aaron Sapirski, which is my personal Facebook. You can also find me on Instagram if you're not a huge Facebooker, even though we're streaming this on Facebook. Aaron Sapirski. I post a lot of things that I don't post on Facebook, on Instagram, and you really get to know who we are and what we do. So I will get off here. Like I said, follow me on Instagram, Aaron Sapirski. And if you or someone you know needs an estate sale, share with them the videos that we do. I really want people to get to know who we are, what we do, what we're about. And we have an amazing team. We're growing that team right now. We're about to go into our busiest time of year. And we're looking to expand. So me and my production director, Shannon, who's usually here with me on this show, we're working through all the details and all the kinks so that we can bring you an incredible amount of estate sales this year. We're going to do a ton of estate sales. So, and we love helping people, and we'll bring a house from complete disorder through organized cleaning, staging, pricing, advertising, running the estate sale with the team, everything. Then cleaning it out at the end, vacuuming, sweeping, leaving it ready to go for, the next stage. If you're a real estate agent, we help with realtors all the time on those fronts. Or if you know a real estate agent who you'd like us to partner with, please send them to us. We love working with realtors. We can help them take a situation and make it better. Take it and help that client. So follow us. I'm going to get out of here. I don't know how long this video is, but hopefully I kept it short enough for you. Ethics is the first thing in business, the first thing in your life, the first thing to consider when doing anything is this a pro-survival action or is this a non-pro-survival action? And then continue along the pro-survival actions more and more. Do more pro-survival actions than non-pro-survival actions, and I think you'll start getting there. Thank you so much, and I just messed that up.